What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ, Bucky, Baldy with you on a little recap Monday. First of all, Baldy, before I get to you, Buck, where are you right now? I don't recognize this shot.
I am in a lounge at a hotel in Indy before I get on a flight to head back. It's inclement weather here. So.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, travel will get you this time of the year. Baldy, where were you yesterday? What game?
I was in Carolina watching Seattle just thump the Panthers, looking like a good team. It was not fun watching Bryce Young struggle on offense the way he did, man. It was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just tough to think that can be the future if you're really trying to build that program. They have a lot of good pieces, but that was not a good performance.
No, and I think we'll get to the end of this thing. When we go through some of these games. We'll do a little quick peek because we have you here on this episode, Baldy, of some of these massive games that are coming up. Winner take all division, number one seed on the line. A lot of big games coming up, final week of the season. But let's start first of all with the Sunday nighter. Baldy, I'll let you jump on this one. Chicago, San Francisco was an awesome game, big time shootout.
It was a shootout, and we saw performances, from Luther Burden, who was dynamic throughout the game. And one of the reasons why, him and Loveland, the two of them have really come on and really developed in the passing game. They had 7 plays of 20 yards or more, 2 of them for touchdowns. On the other side, I mean, no George Kittle, but you got Jake Tongas. I'm sure you got all kinds of, what's the difference? And Ricky Pearsall really made a difference. But, right now, Brock Purdy, I don't know, you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, Bucky, in Jacksonville. I don't know if there's a hotter quarterback. He's accounted for 10 touchdown passes in the last 6 days. He doesn't make mistakes. I know the first ball got tipped and intercepted, but he just shrugged that off, and then they just went on a tear. They're doing things, though, I don't know, DJ, if Christian McCaffrey is real or if he's AI. Because he's over 400 touches right now, and he's only getting stronger. He's got 2,000 yards. He's going to get 100 catches. He looks indestructible. And we don't see that from running backs this far into their career. Maybe LaDainian Tomlinson in his prime was doing this kind of stuff, but we just haven't seen running backs that just get stronger as the season's going on. And the offense goes through him, and they just keep feeding him.
Yeah, I think the one thing about Christian McCaffrey, and one of the reasons, DJ, I think we had this conversation on the pod when he got his contract. His ability to catch the ball out the backfield gave him a chance to be able to age gracefully, because you could get him his production not only as a runner, but as a receiver. You can lighten the load when it comes to amount of hits that he takes, because he's taking perimeter shots from little guys as opposed to dealing with the big guys. But this offense, to sit here and think that the San Francisco 49ers are a win away from being the number one seed when 2 of their blue chip players are out, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, George Kittle, another blue chip player, is out. Brandon Ayuk went AWOL, never came back. He was someone they were counting on to be a high-level receiver. To me, this is the best coaching job.
Williams went out on the first play.
Went out on the first play. I
don't know Austin Pleasance, but he stepped in there and played.
So to think about what they're doing, this is the best coaching job that Kyle Shanahan has done. And I read this. This actually came from Omar. Omar put the tweet out there about how Kyle changed their approach this year, had all the veterans come over doing OTAs and say, hey, let's quit focusing on the Super Bowl and let's just be the best version that we can be with this team and just see how good that can be. And maybe that subtle shift in mindset where it's more process than result, getting better every week, maybe that has worked for this team, because this team, it looks like a Super Bowl team, and I feel crazy for saying that despite all the people that are out of their starting lineup.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think I want to get a lot of stuff on this game. We can cook on it for a little bit. But one of the other thoughts I had on this game was watching both these teams playing a ton of young players, the Niners on the defensive side, the Bears, particularly on the offensive side. And you look at some of these teams that are playing with all these young guys. And then not only are you're surviving, they're in the mix as the best teams in the NFL. And these young players are getting better each and every week. Forget the whole rookie wall thing. These guys are, getting stronger as the year goes along. And I think some of that is the college football season's gotten longer, Baldy. I don't think people talk about that quite as much, with especially with playoffs and things like that. But it's become a longer season. It's not that different from where we are in the NFL at this point in time. But I think it speaks to the importance of having good teachers. Coach is the word we use, but teacher to me is the more appropriate term for these guys.
Well, I mean, just Chicago. Ozzie Trapilo over at left tackle right now, and Luther Burden. He didn't do much in the first half of the season. Neither did Colston Loveland. We kind of questioned whether Ty Warren was a better pick, and now you're watching Loveland do just about everything. And these guys are getting down the field for big plays. So those are just three young guys, and Kyle Monungai, of course, and what they're able to do. But when we just go back to the coaching aspect of it, man, it's not just coaching, Bucky. It's specific game day, coaching. Like just watching DeAndre Swift score from the 2-yard line. Where San Francisco's got a reduced front. They've got 5 defensive linemen on there. They're not running inside. They're pulling Jonah Jackson. They got a tight end all the way outside with Darnell Wright to cut the outside defensive end. And Swifty, runs into the end zone for 2 yards. And then you're watching similar things in what Kyle's doing in the run game right now with both Robinson and with Christian McCaffrey. Just the subtle little tweaks of, okay, this is the anticipated front. This is what we get. We're going to run juice in this motion. We're going to come back with Tongas here. And the linebackers are just taking themselves out of the play. And unless you're Luke Kuechly, you might not ever figure out where the hell the ball is going right now.
No, I mean, it's all of that. I want to talk on your point, DJ. I think playing the young players, and eventually we'll talk about the Jaguars, but I would say my observation in playing the young players, James Gladstone said this, and I think other general managers are doing it. You have to clear a pathway for them to get on the field, meaning you can't bring veterans in as the backups like coaches want the veteran players.
So the little whoopee blanket.
Yes. You have to make it where this young player is the next one up, and there's no other recourse but that. You have to play him. And then the coaches are adapting. So the San Francisco 49ers, and I think Robert Saleh needs to get a lot of credit for this. Defensively, they're not doing what they've done in the past. They're more bend but don't break than they've ever been this year. Soft zones, keep it in front, run, rally, tackle. Because with young players, you have to simplify so you can give them a chance to be successful. And the teams that I'm seeing that are playing a bunch of young players, they're not doing complex things. They're letting them sit in these basic schemes, and they're saying they're going to get better and better each week with more reps and experience.
I think that's true, Bucky.
That's a great point. And look, the lead of this game is Brock Purdy's playing out of his mind with anticipation, accuracy, the athleticism, which has been incredible with him getting outside the pocket, using his legs, using his arm. That's kind of an X factor, which has been fun to watch. He's locked in. Ricky Pearsall's turned into a really good player, a really good option for them in the pass game. But I wanted to leave you with this thought because I was watching the game on TV last night, and Collinsworth, who's great, but he kept kind of highlighting, Caleb missing some of these layup throws and how it's bizarre that he can make some of these incredible throws, but misses some of these layup throws. And it just kind of triggered a memory of mine where I was thinking, gosh, I remember they say the same thing about Josh Allen those first couple of years in the league. So I'm like, let me pull those numbers. So I posted them, Baldy and Buck. Yeah. Josh Allen year 2, 58.8%. Caleb Williams year 2, 57.9%. Total touchdowns for Josh Allen, 29, for Caleb, 28. Interceptions for Josh, 9, Caleb, 6. Total yards, 35.99 for Josh, 41.17 for Caleb. Like, their numbers are really, really similar. And Josh was making those big splash plays, but then you'd have some easy misses. And he just kind of slowly worked those out of his game. Now, and I said in the bottom of it, look, Caleb's supporting cast way better than what Josh Allen had at that time in Buffalo, all the way across the board, offensive line, skill players, all that. I get all that. But I'm just saying, you could see it. This is like, Buck, it feels like you've planted this little seed in the garden and you're starting to see it kind of grow. And you're like, one day this is going to be a big old tree, man, the way that Caleb Williams is going.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I heard the commentary, and even in looking at Josh Allen, because he missed the 2-point throw that was open, like you're going to have some of those like that. That happens. There's no perfect quarterback when it comes to they never miss or whatever. I think we have to exhibit enough patience with the young quarterbacks that we don't nitpick them to death before they can have their full developmental process. Okay, yeah, he misses some of these throws, but man, can we talk about the things that he's done
freaky stuff,
from his rookie season to now, and how well he's playing in Ben Johnson's offense, and how there's been a slow increase, a slow ascent to where he's at right now. Look, man, he's a second-year player who has his team in the playoffs, and they were playing for an opportunity to be the number 1 seed. Let's give him credit. And I think for these young guys that are doing it and doing it at a high level, meet them where they're at. talk about where we want them to go, but man, can we appreciate where they are and how far they've come from their rookie season?
And he's been clutch, Baldy. Like, whatever people want to talk about, I mean, the numbers look good to me. I mean, obviously the completion percentage, people are going to harp on that. But the explosives, the ability to win games.
The touchdown to Luther Burton is a dime. The touchdown to Colts and Loveland is in stride.
Baldy, as much as we love Burton and Loveland, they both had easy drops on that last drive too.
They might win the game if Burton doesn't. I mean, he was 8 for 8, caught everything, and then they won on just going out of bounds right there. I mean, it's a first down, and he that one goes through his hands.
Maybe that just gives you one more crack at it. Maybe that with the times, in the yardage gained on those two, maybe they get more cracks at it. Ben Johnson, look, I know some people were criticizing him for the hook and ladder. I think that's the way he goes, man. That's the way he rolls.
They had a shot. They had a shot from the 4-yard line. Whatever it was, 2 or 4 yard line. They got it down there. They spiked it. They got the first down, and so that guy's always going to have something up his sleeve. In any situation, they always look like they've been practicing all of those kind of things that they do.
Yeah, no, it's a good test for them, a good road test.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Chicago, was right in the game against, one of the elite teams. They're going to be a tough team to get out of the playoffs once we get there.
Just one little stat. I know that it was well announced that the Bears had never had a 4,000-yard passer in there.
270 to go.
270 to go right here. So against Detroit with, a defense that, has been pretty poor of late, he might get that against Detroit this weekend in Chicago.
Yeah, we'll see how much, how they play those guys. Interesting. A lot of teams have decisions to make on if they want to try and pursue a little bit of a higher seed or whether they want to rest knowing they got to turn around and play in a playoff game the next week. Chicago, one of those teams. Baldy, you were at Seattle, Carolina. You touched on it early. I think Seattle's defense probably the headliner in this one.
They were. I mean, it was a 3-3 game and, early third quarter and, Tank Lawrence, punches the ball out of Chuba Hubbard's hands and recovers it. I mean, it was literally a peanut punch. Knocked it out, recovered it. They scored, quickly after that. And then Julian Love, just really played perfect coverage against Bryce Young, picked it off. They went down, scored. And, in a matter of minutes, it went from 3-3 to 17-3. But Carolina never was in it because they had zero passing game against Seattle. And it's interesting because I saw John Schneider, before the game I was talking to him. I talked to, a bunch of the guys. I've known Leonard Williams since he was drafted. Like, he just keeps getting not just better, but bigger, stronger. His endurance, he doesn't fatigue. And the entire defensive front, I don't care if it's Byron Murphy or Tank or Jaron Reed, like, they just roll those guys through. And there is no drop-off, whoever's on the field. And the other thing, and just talking to, some of the guys, A.J. Barner and, Graves Abel, like, they just have a bond on that team. Like, you can feel it. Like, I know, Buck, you probably feel the same way about Jacksonville right now. And I'm sure, DJ, you feel the same way about the Chargers. You've been around them quite a bit. But just being around Seattle for the first time, like, the entire team's out there on the field warming up in lousy weather in Charlotte. And they look like they're having a ball just warming up, whether it's Darnold throwing balls to, Rashid Shaheed, whoever it is. Like, the entire team's out there warming up. They couldn't wait to play that game. And I thought they just – they took Carolina apart. Carolina's defense played well. They've got Derek Brown and J.C. Horn. Mike Jackson played the game of his life. They had a lot of good performances, but I just felt like Seattle's defense just, wore the hat that day.
I think that's an underrated part of what's going on with Seattle. Their defense, particularly their front line, man, they can get after it with a 4-man rush. And that's also the thing is, DJ, I know we're talking about Houston. The teams that are able to do it with a 4-man rush, just dominating the line of scrimmage, it just sets up the rest of the unit for success. And when I look at Lawrence and Williams and Byron Murphy, and all those guys that they have at the front line that can just dominate their one-on-one matchups, man, you have all these fast guys behind them running and chasing things down from behind. It just makes it very difficult to move. And as they continue to embrace Mike McDonald's philosophy, schematics, and all this other stuff, man, you can just see they're not the Legion of Boom, but man, they certainly give those vibes in terms of how they can control the game with their defense.
They got players at all three levels, and they got a ton of depth in their front, so they can roll those guys through and keep them fresh. Speaking of a team that can get home with 4, Philly against Buffalo. I mean, I watched this game on TV, which I don't get a chance to do a lot, but I watched the whole game on TV, and the whole game, it felt like the whole second half was played on the 50-yard line and in for Philly. I mean, every drive for Buffalo would start like at the 40, 50-yard line. I was talking to one of my buddies in the Eagles organization last night, and I said, man, it felt like when you're a kid, you know, when you're playing ping pong with your kids and you're like, all right, we're going to 21. We'll start you at 15 and see if I can get you. I mean, they're spotting them half the field the whole second half. And the defense just kept standing up time after time. And a lot of it was, you know, Jalen Carter's, he's healthy. He looked full go. He was a nightmare. Jalen Phillips had 9 pressures in this game, which was tied for the most of any defensive lineman this week. That's going to go down. I posted it. They win the Super Bowl. That'll be a major discussion point, was how the heck did the Eagles get Jalen Phillips for the third round pick? It's unbelievable. Jalix Hunt had 2 sacks. Baldy, when they can get home with their 4 and their secondary can smother you. Now, by the way, Epps is playing great to go along with all the other guys they got. I mean, this defense is legit.
Yeah, and they smack you too now. I mean, you saw hits from Reed Blankenship and from Cooper DeJean. Like, they'll smack you right now. And Zach Bond is just as steady as it comes. Like, he's not putting up the numbers that he had a year ago, but he never comes off the field. 2 years
Campbell was great. Campbell played great yesterday.
Jahad played really, really well for N'Kobe in there. And he's just he didn't get benched, but they really went with N'Kobe for about a month or 4 or 6 weeks there, and he kind of got a reduced role, but he stepped up yesterday. And so, I mean, they can keep the score down against them. I mean, it's 13-0 deep into the fourth quarter. Yeah. I mean, Buffalo can't get a sniff. That offensive line been running through everybody the last couple of weeks.
It's a good
and
group.
They couldn't get anything going.
It's funny. You talked about the Eagles and how they're able to get it done with their defense. And DJ, it's funny because I'm looking at this team, and offensively, they couldn't move the ball at all. And so defensively, I mean, I literally felt like you're boxing from the corner the whole fight. Like you're just fending them off. Like Mike Tyson is waylaying, and you're just trying to jab him and keep him at bay. But man, Jalen Carter on the inside, Jalen Phillips, just what they're able to do. Vic Fangio's thing where, look, they're not going to give you the explosive plays. They're going to make you drive the ball down the field. And it's just frustrating for Josh Allen not having the deep ball. And you can just see himself run himself in the sacks because he's waiting and waiting and waiting, and no one can uncover. And those guys get there. And I said this, like, man, if the Eagles lean into who they are, defense first, find a way to muster enough points, in the playoffs, man, they have the recipe to be able to get right back and make another repeat run. But it's going to be the defense that does it, not the offense for them.
But I just don't know in a playoff spot right now if they can be that conservative on offense, running it on 3rd and 9 and not even trying to attack and just go, okay, we'll punt. Okay, we'll take the sack. Okay, we'll throw it away. Like, I don't know if you can just have that many wasted possessions like they have in almost every game and still think that you can stay up with the Rams or stay up with some of these other teams out there right now that, can certainly go up and down the field and score.
Baldy, they're not getting any push with their run game at all.
No.
I know.
It's been all year long. It's been all year long.
Get Lane. It sounds like Lane, I'm guessing, will be back for the playoffs. Is that the plan, Baldy? You know more than me on that one.
He's visiting a specialist right now in North Carolina. I don't know. It had, he's trying to do this without surgery, and it's a grade 2, Liz Frank. So there's still a possibility, but you won't see him this Sunday. Yeah, no, I figured that for sure. Just a matter of whether they could get him back in the playoffs. The other thing is you're going to have to generate offense. You're going to have to tell Hurts, like, hey, design quarterback runs. Like, we're going to jump into that heavy again. He hasn't been running the ball much at all. Like, I don't know if he's just trying to save himself a little bit till you get to the playoffs. But I mean, they're going to have to find more offense. And I saw him in person a couple weeks ago, that team, or a month ago. And you're looking out there going, man, look at the group of receivers and the tight end, the running backs. Like, they can't be this bad on offense. Well, I think they lead the league in 3 and outs, DJ.
It's crazy.
They just go through possessions where they just, there's, and maybe it's just because they're playing with the lead and they just get conservative, but there's not much creativity to this offense. No. It's not hard to figure out what they're doing and from what formations. And on 3rd downs, they were just dreadful yesterday. I think they missed 9 of them. But they were, they don't get anything on 1st or 2nd down in the run game. So they're constantly at 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 10. And, they're not even running routes to get 10 yards right now.
No, not at all. Buck, your game, Jacksonville and Indy. Hey, the little old Jags, the little small market Jags, just keep finding a way, Buck.
I mean, like, no one respects the Jags. Like, it's just funny how That is a little small market team, just the little engine that could. Now, I think what's funny about it, like they certainly play up all of that stuff. Liam has done a really good job of creating that edge. They play to it. The players have kind of embraced that. But what I will say is he's done a really good job with this team of being able to adjust in game to whatever they're facing, offensively and defensively. And I'm going to tell you, defensively, Anthony Campanelli does a great job of that first quarter will look like one way, and then there's a timeout or a break in action, and they get it fixed right away. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened early in the game. And Phillip Rivers was controlling the game like we talked about, not necessarily as a thrower, but his ability to get him in the right run check, to get him, we're going to run to the bubble. We're going to do this. We're going to all of this other stuff. And they shut it down. And then they were like, hey, we got to get Phillip backed up. We got to get him in long yardage situations where his arm strength comes into play. Mm-hmm. And as long as Phillip was able to play 2nd and 5, 3rd and 4 mixed downs, he could get the check down and they could get on schedule. But when they stopped the run on early downs and blanketed the receivers on the outside, they made it tough. And a lot of that is just the adjustments. And then offensively, Trevor, they had some bad turnovers, right? The reason why the game was tough is like 2 red zone turnovers that just kind of let the team hang in there. Trevor Lawrence is dealing. He continues to deal, and his connection with Parker Washington, who has become a really good number 3 receiver, and Jacoby Myers and Brendan Strange, like they just work inside out, and the connection is there, and the confidence that Trevor Lawrence plays with is the biggest difference because he's also using the athleticism and the legs that he showed at Clemson. That has been the thing where he is using the legs to get himself out of trouble or to create explosive plays down the field.
DJ, will you do me a favor here? Will you go into your little time machine right there and tell me what you got on Parker Washington? Because I never thought he could be what he is right now in this offense.
He's in 3rd or 4th year.
Parker Washington, Penn State. He was 5.096, 204. I don't have a 40 time on him. I think he was fast. Slot, quick outs, quick at the top. Gets knocked off a little bit. It really tracked the deep ball. I thought he was a little quicker than fast. For some reason,
that's what he is.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
I thought he timed decent, but I didn't have his 40 on there.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, quicker than fast.
Back weeks there, man. He's been the go-to guy.
But I will tell you, and it goes back to the thing that Ron Wolf used to talk about: why you want wide receivers with punt return ability. So this year he has 2 punt returns to the house that are documented. He has another one that was taken back. But what you're seeing now, when you look at him, his confidence, he is now catching the ball. He's doing stop-start maneuvers that he never did the first couple of years in the league. He would catch it, get what he could, and go. Now he's like playing a video game. He's stopping and moving back and jumping around. And it's the freedom that the coaches have given him, like, hey, man, go be you. Go do. And he has been dynamic with the ball. I'm going to tell you, DJ, I think he had over 100. It was the easiest 100 yards that I've seen in terms of just catch, boop, 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 boop. Like, oh, man, he has like 7 or 8 for 115 yards.
Yeah.
It is a water drip where they're just finding easy completions, easy outs, easy stick routes that are diagramming for him to get open.
Yeah, that's interesting. And the reason why I don't have a 40 because he didn't run one. Didn't run one at the combine, not run one at the pro day. So he had an injury. So that's probably a reason why he went where he went as well. Real quick, then we'll get a quick pause. I just want to give you guys a couple nuggets from games we're not going to cover. Abdul Carter in the awful game to
unbelievable.
The Giants and the Raiders was I don't think too many people were watching that, although it did have impact to see who the first pick was going to be. But he had 7 pressures. He looked dynamic and explosive as advertised.
He's got at least a half a sack in 4 straight games. Mm-hmm. He's got 10 quarterback hits in the last 4 games. He's got 6 tackle for losses. Like him and Brian Burns right now. It's like fun. That looks like you could go to work with just those 2 guys alone. You could start building your defense. And that Darius Alexander showed up a bunch as well, some rushes. Like that core right there, you could do a lot of damage with those guys, the way that they're playing, because it's run in, pass, it's the ability to escape, it's the ability to close. It's a feel. Burns, he's been unbelievable. You just, you try to bootleg against him, you're gonna you're going to eat the ball at some point. Like, he's just going to recognize it. But it's a lot. That's a fun tape to watch.
Yeah, that's going to be a good job. I think, to me, everybody's thinking offensive coach with Jackson Dart. I could see them. A lot of these top candidates are going to be defensive guys. Come in there with that front, right scheme, right coach.
Yep.
You get some corners. You could fix that secondary real. You could fix that whole defense and be pretty dominant.
Started moving those guys. I'm sure you saw it, DJ, but they ran a Fire X stunt from the stand-up inside linebacker.
Yep. Got
a little pick, and Burnsley came free. They ran him on one side, and they ran a little exit stunt, the two of them, and they ended up getting a holding call on it. They're starting to get a little creative with their abilities and how they can work in combination with each other.
Yeah, it could be fun. It could be really fun. Buck, this is the other nugget on a game we're not going to touch. We're not talking about the New England game, but Drake Maye. I posted and we talked about the numbers comparing Caleb with Josh Allen. How about Drake Maye year 2 versus Joe Burrow year 2? I was curious on that. So Joe Burrow year 2, 70.4%, Drake Maye 71.7, total TDs, Burrow 36, Maye 34, interceptions, Burrow 14, Maye 8, total yards, Burrow 47-29, Drake Maye 46-12. And then I just wrote elite. That's some elite stuff right there from your Tar Heel, Buck.
Yeah, look, man, he's coming to his own. And DJ, I told you I was too close to the flame doing the evaluation. So I saw all the warts and didn't see enough of the great stuff or appreciate enough of the great stuff. And what has happened in New England, all of the things that he teased Carolina fans with, he has shown that he could be that guy. He is athletic enough. He has arm talent. He has a little swag that is, I would say, understated, that allows him to bring this confidence that's infectious. And they have put him in a system, and I'm going to say this, the Stephon Diggs factor is real when it comes to what he's able to do for a young quarterback. But this dude is playing with a load of confidence, and Mike Vrabel is the perfect coach for this team. And Josh McDaniels has been really good for Drake Maye because he can appeal to his high IQ while also unlocking some of the athleticism. This dude is good, man. Look, I never envisioned him being a top 5 quarterback this fast, but I think you have to talk about him in the context of those guys that are on the fringe of being regarded as elite quarterbacks.
Let me ask you this, DJ. We used to see these coordinators leave the nest of New England, whether it was Josh McDaniels or Billy O'Brien or, Charlie Weiss, whoever. And they would take Brady's playbook, and it looked ridiculous trying to give Brady's playbook to all these different guys in Houston, wherever they went. How much of Josh McDaniels' playbook? Because I watch these plays, DJ. I'm like, I remember this, with Tom. But how much of that playbook, how much do you think Drake has digested of what that playbook and how expansive that thing is?
I think the ability to do it week to week and continue building on it is what that's what's happening. And I mean, the crazy thing with Tom was he was just there for so long that the Rolodex for those things got so large that there was nothing he hadn't seen. And I just think they're just just keep adding on. It's like, okay, what's the point of the diminishing returns? They're not even close. Like, they can keep loading them up, and you haven't seen any drop off at all. He's thriving. So that's what's so rare about a young quarterback year 2, that volume is, any issue.
You know what's interesting to me is they're playing the Jets, right?
Yeah.
And so there's Morgan Moses, who is a Jet. He's playing great football. And there's Austin Hooper, who's traveled around this league at tight ends, and he's catching balls. And Hunter Henry has traveled around. All of a sudden you get the quarterback, and everybody looks like they're good players now.
Yeah, they got a locksmith.
No matter what the position is,
the key doesn't work till you get a locksmith. And when you get a locksmith, get that key working, it unlocks. You can open up and you can go and check the whole thing out. That's what they've been able to do with that combination with Drake Maye and working with Josh McDaniels. It's been great. All right, let's get to Houston and the Chargers. I was at this game, man. Weird game. Houston comes out the first 2 possessions, bam, bam. Iowa State bomb. State bomb. They hit both those rookie receivers. Busted coverages on the Chargers, and they're in a hole early. And then after that, Houston's offense kind of got shut down. Jesse Menard got them locked in. No more busts. They controlled the game defensively. They got a couple interceptions and gave the Chargers opportunities. Chargers just were terrible in the red zone and couldn't cash in chips. You get an interception on a ball that tips off of Gadsden's hands. You get a missed field goal, the first missed field goal under 40 yards in Cameron Dicker's career. He misses an extra point, hadn't missed an extra point all year long. Yeah. So then you get 2 shanked punts. So just from special teams, that's 4 points on the kicker, and that's 6 points on the punter. That's 10 points you could look at as a big swing in this game. But I mean, the two things I would say leading into this game, that Houston defense was the best that I've studied on tape in a couple years. It reminded me a lot just with the violence they played with the old Niners defense with Alden Smith, Justin Smith, Bowman, and Willis, where you're just watching guys. It's savagery. They fly around and there's nothing finesse about it. And they are going to rush through your face off the edges in those wide nines. It is a fun defense to watch. And I was sitting there watching it, Buck, and I'm sitting there. You remember when Jaden Daniels was coming out? And we talked a lot about the VR and how basically it's like a flight simulator and they could crank it up to like 1.25 speed. And I'm like, Justin Herbert, since the tackles have gone down, has had to play NFL football in like a 1.5 speed simulator. I mean, it's incredible that the team is where they are because of the injuries that they've had. And he's having to play the game faster than any other quarterback in the league.
Yeah, look, it has to be really, really challenging to deal with all of the like musical chairs that you're dealing with up front, and you can't get settled, and you can't really be the team that you want to be because you want to alleviate some of the pressure on him by being able to run the football consistently and then push the ball down the field when you want to dictate the terms. That said, look, they had plenty of opportunities to seize this game because after those 14 points that Houston got, they couldn't really be a drop. And it's just a matter of, and we're going to see it in the playoffs, you have got to, in the red zone, you've got to make sure that you come away with points. Everybody wants sevens, but what we can't do, we can't give the ball away in the red zone because it just crushes you. And you think about those, the turnover, you think about the missed field goal, the missed PAT, you just wipe away all those things in these competitive games against really comparable teams. That's the difference in winning and losing in this league. And it's going to be the difference in the postseason.
I've been saying if Houston scores 20 points, they win. I mean, it's the first team. They get first 20. That's the magic number right now. Just go through the whole season. But it's just refreshing to actually watch great defense. I mean, I mean, just to see great tackling, Lassiter, Stingley. It doesn't pick a Petrie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Toto has been awesome, by the way.
Yeah, he's been awesome. It's hard to find matchups where you feel like you can win. I mean, the receiving core the week before against the Cowboys, DJ, like not one defensive back could cover Trey Harris or Keandre Lambert-Smith. It didn't matter. They couldn't cover him. Those guys, like Justin Herbert, couldn't get to his back foot, and he was already moving out of the pocket. They just smother you and they attack you, and it's just refreshing to watch great tackling the way that they do.
You know, it's funny, right? Because the Jags put 29 points on them, and I don't know how. Because when I look at them, man, it is one of those ugly games. I'm going to take you back to your days in college. You remember how good Clemson was, Baldy, when you were at Duke? Oh, and you remember it would be a 13-3 game, but it never felt like you had any chance to score. When I look at Houston just suffocates you in a way that you're like, I don't know if we can get to 20 points. Like, I really don't know. Like, unless someone falls down on the perimeter, it is really hard to score on that defense. And they're just the team that no one wants to match up with.
There's one. I'll let Baldy go, but I'll tell you, there's one team out there.
I was talking to Luke Kuechly yesterday. That was the best part of the day, talking football with Luke. And he was just telling me about how these teams are all playing shell defenses, which we know, and how, run fits the way we grew up teaching run fits and watching them. That doesn't really play anymore. And safety's got to come out of the sky and feel. Anyways, he's going through this whole thing. The one team that doesn't play that game is Houston. They play single high. They stack the box. They're going to make you throw it. They're not going to give you first down runs. They're like every team right now in this league, not every team, but a lot of teams. Yeah. You want to run it. You want to go get 7 yards. Like, we'll give it to you. We're not going to get beat over the top. Houston, like, they're single high, bullets back there. They're going to attack the line of scrimmage.
All right, so here's the team, and I'm gonna preface this by saying they played early in the year, and Houston blew them out of the water. But that was a team that at that time they played Baltimore. Baltimore started Cooper Rush, who threw 3 interceptions. They never got the run game going. Stroud had a great game. He threw for 4 touchdowns on a Ravens secondary at that time that was not in a good place. Mm-hmm. And I look up now and I'm sitting and watching how they match up with everybody. And I'm thinking the one team they probably don't want to see is a 4-5 matchup, having to go into Baltimore with Derrick Henry in the run game. And if they've kind of got that going a little bit, Alohi Gilman's kind of settled the secondary down a little bit. They're playing better in the back end right now. Like just of styles make fights.
Yeah.
That's probably the one. If you're a team that's going to drop back and throw it 35 times against Houston, God bless you. I mean, good luck blocking those guys. But if that's not how Baltimore is going to play.
36 rushes, they're going to win the game.
Yeah, they're going to control the game.
They ran it 53 times, but if Derrick Henry's running it 36 times, they're winning the game.
Yeah.
That's
so, I mean, that game was 44-10. And I think people will look at that and say, oh, Houston will just go clobber them again. And I'm like, nah, it's not it. That's not the same Baltimore team. And it's just from a matchup standpoint, it's cold. It's big old Derrick Henry, run the ball a million times. I just think that's the one, Buck. I don't know. I don't love that one as much for Houston. Anybody else that they square off against, I don't care where they play them. It would not be a comfortable afternoon for the other team.
Okay, so given your Baltimore roots, why does it take them so long to get to this point every year? Like why is it
you are?
Like who you are? Like why does it bother? I feel like they've wasted almost an entire season to realize, man, when we're really good? When we just line up and just donkey kick people with the running game. And just and I mean it is frustrating to me to watch the Baltimore Ravens play because I'm just like, why don't they play to who they are?
I was so intrigued by Baltimore this summer. I went to see him in training camp twice. So one of the trips, I'm talking to Patrick Ricard and Derrick Henry together. And I'm like, how do you that's 550 pounds of just solid flesh, right? And that's all they did on this weekend. They lined up in I formation and there was no misdirection. Lamar Jack, Snoop ran for a couple times, but for the most part, they just lined up and knocked you off the ball. And really, Ricard's the eyes to the hole for Derrick Henry. And they just went back to the basics that I saw in training camp going, who's going to stop this? You go and give Patrick Ricard a nice little slap on the shoulder. Nice seeing you, buddy. It's like hitting a piece of steel. That guy is solid as a rock, man. And I'm with you, DJ. I don't know, Bucky. I don't know why they deviate from that.
It is baffling to me. You got two of the best runners or whatever. And I know Lamar Jackson has been nicked up or whatever, but I would have that conversation with him too. Hey, bro, we're at our best when Derrick Henry runs it and you're going to run it. And I know we're aging out. You need to run it 8 to 10 times because it enhances what we do offensively. When they run the football, it just drives me crazy.
I saw a cutback run and Bullard, the safety in Green Bay, is there and he's helpless. Here he comes. The train is on the track. He's coming. He's got to read the tackle. So he's sitting there helpless. There's no help. Nobody's coming to save him. And he's just got to buck it up and go low and hang on and just get trucked. And I'm going, that's the first quarter. I'm like, by the third quarter, they were diving at air trying to stop him.
You won't know parts. You won't know parts of the physicality of Derrick Henry coming downhill. And they have other running backs. So if you use Keaton Mitchell to, I got the hammer. Now let's bring a little juice. Yeah, now let's bring a little juice. We've tenderized the meat a little bit. Now here comes this dude squirting all around. And then if you use the quarterback to enhance that, man, now you're dealing with basically triple option all day, and you have enough on the perimeter to throw. Look, my wish for them, I know we're past Christmas, just lean into who you've been for a decade plus and be okay with it.
Let me do my favorite thing, which is to put Bucky on the spot here. Baldy, you can follow it up. But I'm gonna preface this by saying Tyler Shucks played really well this year. He's played really well, especially coming down the stretch. He's played really good football. It's been impressive. Saying that now, if I were to tell you, Buck, that you are the owner of the first overall pick, which right now is the Las Vegas Raiders, and I told you that, hey, Tyler Shuck's been impressive. Tyler Shuck's 26 years old. You know who else is 26 years old? Malik Willis is 26 years old. Malik Willis this year is 30 for 35 for 422 passing yards, 123 rushing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, no picks. So if I told you, Buck, you can just swing, you can sign him as a free agent, pay him, beat everybody, outbid everybody to get Malik Willis. You could then use that first pick, auction it off, sell it. Or would you rather say, no, I'm going to stick and pick. I'm going to take this rookie quarterback here with the first overall pick, and off you go. So I'm going to give you that decision here as we sit. What is this, December 29th? Go ahead.
Well, I'm more likely to take the experienced player. Now, the caveat is we talk about Malik Willis or whatever. Can I bring whoever's been working with him at Green Bay? Because that's the version that I want, because I think it's really important that whatever they've done there, and here's what I'll say. They've been able to do that from day one with him. Mm-hmm. Like whatever wasn't working in Tennessee, he goes to Green Bay. And I think within 2 weeks, he has to make a start or play. And that Malik Willis that we're seeing now has been on display in Green Bay. So I want that blueprint. I want the coach. I want everyone to come on down as a package deal. It's almost like, hey, you get this and the extra stuff. But yeah, that Malik Willis, I absolutely could play with. But it's important that we set up the same infrastructure that he's been successful with in Green Bay.
30 for 35, Baldy.
I want Kellen Moore and Doug Newsmeyer with Tyler Shuck.
Yeah. They've done a great job.
Those guys that come with me, too.
I think they missed that in Philly a little bit, huh?
100%.
Those guys.
I mean,
100%.
Kellen and Nuss have done a great job there in New Orleans, and Tyler Shucks played really, really well. Last game here. I know we're running out of time, Baldy, but Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I mean, Pittsburgh has it all right in front of them, and I don't want to say you blew it, but man alive. That's a great Cleveland defense with Schwartzy running the show, Myles Garrett in that group. It's a really, really good group, but they just laid an egg in that game.
Well, there was a sequence in the second quarter. It's it's a 10-3 game, and it's 3rd and 7, and Aaron runs for 6 yards. He slides, and he's pissed at himself because he slid short of the first down. So it becomes 4th and 1. And 4th and 1, they take a go shot to Scotty Miller. There was no chance.
Yeah.
Like there's no DK. They go to Scotty on a go route. And their best receiver is Kenneth Gainwell. And there he is doubling on Myles Garrett. And he's not even in the – like it's 4th and 1. Like your best player in space is Kenneth Gainwell and has been. And they came away with nothing, in a game where, points were at a premium. Like it just it was frustrating to watch. Myles Garrett wasn't wrong when he said they were more worried about me getting the record than winning the game. And if you watch the game, like that's all they did was try to stop Garrett. And they weren't trying to do anything else at that point.
Buck, they lose Darnell Washington, broken arm, and DK Metcalf with that suspension. I mean, those are their two bully players. One at the line of scrimmage and one on the perimeter. They lost their bullies.
So I'm telling you, man, I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers do this all the time. As soon as you think that they are back and ready to go, they'll stub their toe against a team that they shouldn't lose to. DK Metcalf being gone certainly impacts them because now they're forced to play half-court basketball, and they don't have anybody that you worry about. There's no one on their wide receiver core that you have to double team, tilt coverage to, or anything. So now you can concentrate on the running game. You can squeeze the pocket of Aaron Rodgers, and they have no recourse. And for this team to lose to Cleveland like that, man, if I'm Baltimore, I'm going to replicate this. And Baltimore is a more explosive or more dynamic offense. Look, man, they are going uphill in this Week 18 matchup against Baltimore to win the division. And I'll be honest, I just don't see how they can get it done.
Yeah, we're saying that. We don't even know who's playing quarterback for Baltimore, and it's hard to think that Baltimore is going to lose that game just with how hamstrung Pittsburgh is offensively right now, Baldy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if Snoop has to play, though, Snoop was good.
Yeah.
He's been good. I've seen him go to some other teams. I never thought he was a good fit in Miami, but he's there and, he's traveled around the league, but he's a good fit there in Baltimore. He scrambled when he had to scramble and made the throws he had to make. And, I thought he handled himself really, really well in a game that they had to have. And I thought he did his role just fine.
Last thing, Baldy, we'll let you go. I teased it, so many great games. You've got Tampa, Carolina for the division. We talked about Baltimore and Pittsburgh for the division. You've got for the division and the number 1 seed, though, the heavyweight matchup in San Francisco, Seattle and San Francisco. Just give me real quick, Baldy. We're a ways away from the game here on Saturday, but what's your key to that one?
I mean, it's going to be a playoff game. It's a play-in play, but I think San Francisco's offense right now is just clicking. And so can Seattle match that right now? I mean, I know Seattle's going to give them problems. We'll see if Trent Williams plays or doesn't play. I don't know if that's a hamstring. I don't know what it is, what he pulled up on. But regardless, like their offense right now, I feel like they can game plan with the best of them and they can execute with the best of them. So I don't know that Seattle's offense, Rashid Shaheed went down in that game. They felt like they lost a lot when they did. But as as vanilla as San Francisco's defense is, and I know Seattle can score as well, but I feel like San Francisco right now, I think I would have to take them just the way the offense is clicking.
How about Sam, Baldy? Sam, second year in a row. He's going to go has to go on the road, but it's a 1-5 game, right? It's the number one seed or the fifth seed. I mean, there's no higher stakes than that.
I think, like I just was talking to Sam yesterday, like his whole career really changed when he went to San Francisco and he saw how hard you have to be coached during the week and what game planning looks like and what talent and how you get the edge in coaching and all that. I think he saw that firsthand for the first time in his career. And I think it really opened his eyes. I think he's probably really thankful sitting there and watching Brock Purdy that year. But he's going to get a great opportunity here this weekend to be the number one seed, everything go through Seattle. I think they have a chance because I think the two backs, Charbonnet and Walker right now, the way that they're playing up front, they're in pretty good shape right now.
Yeah, look, this is about as even a matchup as I can think. When I think about those three teams in the West, the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks, like you could play a round robin, and I think all of them would end up with the same number of wins, losses if we did it over time. The thing about Seattle and San Francisco having to play in San Francisco, I think the advantage goes to the Niners just because the energy is going to be through the roof. It's going to be able to help the Niners defense, but offensively, man, Brock Purdy's in such a rhythm that it's hard for me to bank against them. Like they've been scoring touchdowns since the end of November and barely punted. Like Thomas Morstead is doing wind sprints, doing punts just so he can get his cardio up because he's not being utilized. This offense is on fire. And normally in these games, I'll lean towards defense, but I just don't know if you can stop the Niners offense enough to put up enough points to beat them.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's fascinating just from the standpoint of, I'll give the Niners offense the edge over Seattle's offense. And I think it's somewhat close when Seattle's rolling. And I would give Seattle a huge advantage on defense versus the Niners on defense.
Sure.
But that's not taking into account Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy being in this rhythm and flow that they're in right now with Juszczyk and the motions that they're using with him. Baldy, Buck's going to spend a good month as someone who loves to just run the football, hates quarterbacks, hates receivers, doesn't want to ever throw the ball. He's going to spend a month studying all these motions in this run game of the Niners. You're going to see it at Granada Hills next year. I'm just telling you right now, you're going to see all these motions.
Honestly, I texted Luke Kuechly. I was watching, if I was putting myself in TJ Edwards' shoes, and I'm going, what should I do here? Like, I see Juice coming in motion. I see Tongas coming back the other direction. I'm like, am I going to take myself out of the play here on this cutback by McCaffrey? Kyle's good, man. Kyle's good.
That's good stuff. Hey, Baldy, you're the best, buddy. Thanks for the time. We'll see you next week.
Happy New Year, man. Yep.
Happy New Year. There he goes, Brian Baldinger. Buck, this is a fun one. Good to be back together and the meaningful football at this time of the year. I love college football. I love we get the playoffs. Some big playoff games coming up here, but the quality of the football that we've seen, the last couple of weeks in the NFL, like these big matchups, these heavyweight fights that we've seen, I don't know. This is some of the best football I've seen in my lifetime. It's been unbelievably good.
It's unbelievably good. And we're going into a playoffs where DJ is not a prohibitive favorite in terms of who's going to win the Super Bowl. And we can talk about matchups because matchups will matter in this tournament in terms of who you get, who's on your line. But it's fascinating because I can't remember a time. I mean, when was the last time it was as wide open in the NFC and the AFC field in terms of anyone who gets in the tournament can feel like, DJ, if the Baltimore Ravens get in, they have to feel like, hey, you know what? All that is great. Let's put it past this. We just need to win 3 games to go to the thing. We can make it right by playing the right way for 3 games and we can go to the show. Every team is going to feel like that. There's not a weak team that is going to skate into the postseason. Everybody has a legitimate chance to win it. And that is what's going to make it such a compelling watch in the postseason.
And I'm just sitting there going, just very, very quietly, the Philadelphia Eagles have gotten their defensive pieces back. Yeah. And all of a sudden, do you remember this if you were on a team like this? Because I do think there's something to this where you're late in the year and to go on the road against a quality opponent, like a Super Bowl caliber team, and kind of beat them up. Like that's got to be a huge confidence builder. As Philly's not going to be at home to the playoffs. They're more than likely going to have to get on the road a little bit. But I think they kind of just, as a defense, are like, yeah, that's Josh Allen. That's the Buffalo Bills. Wet weather. Like, we can take this show anywhere we need to take it.
Well, one, Vic Fangio can stand in the road and be like, look, that's arguably the best quarterback in football. We're not going to face anybody that's better and more dynamic than him.
Yeah.
So if we can snuff them out and hold them to 13 points,
the best running game in the NFL.
Yeah, like who can't we beat going to it? We've seen all the other teams. We've dealt with the Rams before. Like, they can just go through this laundry list of teams and know that we can do it. And there's something about like your attention going up when you've been a champion. When you get to this part of the year where it really matters, extra attention to detail, just knowing what it takes to win it, that's a huge advantage for them in this postseason.
Yeah, kind of forgotten about a little bit with these AFC or NFC West teams looking like juggernauts to go along with the Bears. But going to be an awesome playoff. Going to be a great week 18 with 3 division titles on the line. Cannot wait for that. It's going to be fun. All right, Buck, we're going to get out of here. We will see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.